I don't know. It could be silicone insulated wire, but I'm not sure. And that's what it is. 22 gauge, 60 strands, nice flexible stuff. So the only markings are 22 AWG, American wire gauge, and 200 degrees C. So there's no voltage marking. I'll get a copy of the seller's page for this. Here's the seller's page for the 22 gauge silicone wire. It's 3 pieces, 15 foot long. You see it costs $7.40. I'll let you look at that. I ordered this on April 15th. It was delivered April 21st. This is another reshipped box. I don't know what. Without the CN22, we're flying blind. All of this stuff came from this fellow here. And all of these listings are missing now because apparently there was misdescription going on. We'll take a look at this 40 millimeter dual fan that I paid $5 for. It says the voltage is up to 13.2 volts, and that they talk about revolutions like 15,000 RPM, 12,000 RPM. Two fans are connected together. I'm going to try to disassemble them. But there's 2 fans, some sort of a mounting bracket or slide-in bracket, and 2 sets of little wires. So here's the little fan with 10 volts. If I put my hand up to it and don't touch it, it begins to move away. At 12 volts, it actually pushes itself away. It certainly is noisy, but it's moving an impressive amount of air. Really impressive. And it draws about 1 amp. I don't know if anybody else on eBay is selling these, but if you don't mind the noise, it's an impressive cooling fan. So let's take a look at this item right here. I paid $22 for it. This is what I received. We'll get to this little adapter in a minute. I received 2 screws, one longer than the other, hex key, and I believe a 4mm drill. This is what I was supposed to get. Well, this describes the motor. It's actually rated 12 amps. Okay, I did not get this drill chuck. And I got 2 screws and 1 wrench. Now this is a 5mm adapter. It's a 5mm shaft. A lot of external magnetism on this motor. Angle bracket. And then this adapter has a hole in the middle. This adapter, which fits the shaft, it's actually 5mm to match the motor shaft. And then this is tapered. Here at the bottom reads almost 10mm. Actually a little bit more. If we go out to the end, we read about 9.5. So this probably was intended to be a taper fit onto a drill chuck that wasn't included in the packaging. And the fact that this doesn't live up to the bill is probably one of the reasons eBay delisted all this stuff. Now the positive terminal is identified by this little red dot. And there's a plus sign on it, but it's very hard to tell. It's actually pretty quiet. That's 3.3 volts. And it's up to 1.5 amps. Now it's down to 0.34 amps. Very quiet. There's 20 volts. It's drawing 0.5 amp. It's actually a very powerful motor. The last two we have are this 30 amp relay was $5. And this, I believe, is mislabeled. This is not a 30 amp unit. And this is a good buy. $3. This, I believe the text will tell us, is rated 16 amps. The little blue relay is rated 30 amps, but the circuit board is not. So the first one of these is a 30 amp rated, normally open, single pole relay. And it's driven by 12 volts. DC. There's a built-in reverse diode across the winding, a filter capacitor, an indicator light, and a dropping resistor. So we'll hook it up to 12 volts. I'll turn the 12 volts on and off, and I can feel the relay clicking. Now, in order to run this at 30 amps, you have to use both of these terminals as one pole and both as the other. The terminals themselves are not rated 30 amps, a single terminal. And now we have this one. This one appears to be a real deal at $3. It looks like the same relay. It's not. This one is a single pole double throw, which accounts for these three terminals here. Common. So it is a 30 amp rated relay. This is not quite accurate because the device is rated at 16 amps. And it has a couple of different modes of operation. They're all 5 volts. But $3 for this whole module is really a good price. You notice the difference, these relays appear to be the same. This is a Form A relay. They have A, B, and C. Form A is a normally open contact, a single normally open contact. Form B is a single normally closed contact. And Form C is a single pole double throw. The next thing I have is a stepping motor driver. It cost me $6. Now it comes with quite an extensive series of pictures. Text says it's good for 5 to 12 volts, and then we have these pictures. There's a lot of text here. Four different modes. They're explained in the text. It can be controlled, for example, if you're driving a stepper motor driving a screw, positioning something. It can accept end of travel limit switches. It also can do apparently a back and forth motion, and the number of steps is adjusted by this potentiometer, and we can go like 200 steps forwards, 200 steps backwards. Various jumpers. I think this is a Banggood package. It's a nice aluminum case, cheap, dented, gouged. It was a Banggood. I don't know if those do you any good or not. So these are, I don't know how durable they are, but they're very nicely made. You see the inch. There we go. These are inch step drills, and I don't know how well this will do in a piece of sheet metal, but these certainly would be fine for a plastic panel. As I say, these are inch rather than metric dimension. And they do have flats so they don't slip inside your chuck. Hard foam, soft foam, in a nice little case. This is the Banggood sales page for these step drills, and I don't believe they're cobalt. Hard to believe. But $14, so they really cost me $17 with shipping.